Hello everyone, welcome to Bonnie Gale's Kitchen. I haven't done very many videos in the last, I don't know how long, it's been a while, because I had some other things that were more important, I guess you could say. So anyway, I'm going to make this video and for now and see how it goes. I will be making oyster stew. It was one of my mom's favorite, actually my family's favorite. And I got a little different twist on it. She made hers wonderful, but it was like, really was like a lot of butter. Mine is half the butter, not even half the butter. It's not even hardly any butter really. But the butter does make it taste good. So we will be putting some butter in it, but most of mine is going to be flavoring it with onions, garlic, celery, that sort of thing, and some seasonings. And gosh, honestly, I don't even think my mother put onions in hers. She just warmed the milk up, threw the oysters in, threw some salt and pepper in, and bam, that was oyster stew in our house. But I have a little different technique just because I do love my veggies, and I do like to make lighter dishes. So, all right, let me get started here. First, we'll start with some olive oil. I'm gonna probably be mixing my olive oils because I don't want the virgin olive oil to be too heavy. So, I have a pretty big pan here. I'm making like a very small batch for myself. And when I have made this in the past for my mom and my family, I can use anywhere up to 6 to 8 jars of these deluxe select oysters. So I'm going to be mixing the virgin olive oil with the olive oil. And you can use any kind of oil. I don't want to use the avocado oil just because I don't want this dish to look green. And sometimes some dishes I make with olive oil, they do turn green. So we want this to be clear and white. So about another good couple sweeps of this olive oil. You want enough in there because you're going to be cooking the vegetables. So you want the vegetables to have something to cook with. So, all right, we're going to do that. And I am going to go in here, and because I'm making it for myself, I'm going to add some hot pepper seeds. I may end up having, I will be putting a small pepper in that I don't want to go bad. So I'm going to throw that in there as well. But I just want a little spicy kick to it for myself because I love spicy stuff when the weather's about to change. And tomorrow I think we're supposed to have a cool day. So a few hot pepper flakes. You don't have to overdo it. I mean, whole pepper flakes. And I'm going to put our sea salt in here right now and let all this stuff start working. Turn our palette light up a little. I had it on low to warm the pan. I'm going to put it on about medium. Maybe a little medium high. Give these a swirl. Let me find my spoon. Oh. Trying to be prepared for this. Come on there. All right. Okay. So I'm going to be using my big spoon today. And I may have to go back for the one that I really love, but I don't really use a lot of utensils in my kitchen. I use my food processor a lot, and I chop when I absolutely have to, but I only have really 3 knives that I use in the kitchen. And, you know, it's this little paring knife, my bread knife, and then I got a big old, I guess you could call it a butcher knife or something, but they're about the only 3 in my kitchen I use. So I'm good to go there. So, all right, so to make this video go a little faster, I went on and I have cut up my onions. I'm going to throw them in. Let's see here. I'll throw the celery in. I'll wait to add those. I had some green onions also. I had to use them up. I'm using up what I have in my refrigerator, so thought I would add them to the pot here. And okay, I'm gonna let these little bad boys cook a little bit, and I'm gonna turn the pan up a little higher, medium high, or on the high side, I would say, just to get this stuff going. The pan's pretty nice and hot. I have some spinach right here, and I have the celery trees, you know, the greens off the celery. So I'm going to throw those in because why waste them, right? And I have 2 garlic cloves here that I want to add to this pot for some extra flavor. And I'm going to also add some butter. Now I add a little at the beginning and I add a little at the end. So we're talking only a half a stick of butter is all that's going in here. I'm going to use half down and I'll use half at the end. Now, if I feel like I need more, I'll put it in there, but I think the chicken broth is going to do the trick here with all these flavors, so we don't really need all that butter. Unless you like butter, add more butter to it. I know my mother made it with a lot of butter, and it was good, but I had to create something just a little bit healthier. So let's see here. All right, so I'm going in with this garlic because these veggies are actually they're cooking up pretty good here. So starting to bubble. And I'm going to cut this garlic into the smallest little pieces I can. And you can smash it through a garlic press, whatever you like. You know, whatever your best source is. I'm used to using this little blade, and I've been using it forever. So if I get cut, I get cut. I put a Band-Aid on, and I go right on back to cooking. So it's just how I learned to cook. And I even had a deep cut one time, and I put a Band-Aid around it. It healed up just fine. It was pretty deep though. And then one time I had another cut, and my son took me to the hospital, and I was so mad because they didn't even put a stitch in it. So I'm like, see, that's why I don't go get the stitches in my fingers, because they didn't put a stitch in it. You believe that? Went all the way to the hospital, and my son took me for nothing. For nothing. Anyway, let's finish up this garlic here. And that should be enough for some flavor. Okay. Now, I like to add a little fine black pepper. And I will be adding some white pepper. Because like I said, this is going to taste so very good on a cold day. And I'm going to have some today too. And I hope I have enough for tomorrow. But if I don't, the guy said he was going to be getting some more oysters at the grocery store. So I will be taking my stuff back. And I think I might make some fried ones and add some more to this if I need to. Because I'm going through this oyster thing right now. Okay. So a little white pepper. I'll do like, you know, I may add more at the end after I taste it. All right. You have enough onions in there, but I want a little flavor, so I'm gonna just kick it up a little notch with some onion powder. And we'll put a little more garlic. I'm gonna put some garlic salt in here, because I know it's gonna need some salt at the very end, but I'll just put a little for now. I'm gonna add just a pinch of oregano, because I just love oregano in everything. And I'm going to add a nice little healthy pinch of parsley. And let me see here. I'm going to hit it with just a little sprinkle of adobo. And I may add that some later. But that should be all we need right now. Like I say, compared to my mom's, this has got a kick to it, especially since I just added those black pepper and pepper and white pepper. And go in here, we'll throw the rest of these spring onions in here that didn't cook up. And everything's going to start kind of rolling here fast. And let me go and grab I should have had my chicken broth out and my milk. Okay, I got these two items. Hold on. Okay, I got my chicken broth, my milk, and I got a little heavy cream, and let's just put a little bit more, and I think we can turn them down a little bit here, and maybe I'll just put the top on for a few seconds, just for it to cook all the way through. And what else? What else? Okay. So, let's see where this goes. It's looking lovely. I do want it to brown a little bit more before I throw those celery trees in and the spinach. So, yeah, have some oyster crackers. I wish I had got another bag. I forgot. But like I say, I'm going to go back on Saturday. I believe the guy will have my oysters there on Saturday. So, I'm going to go for it. All right. Here we go. Okay. Maybe I might just try one of these. I'm trying to cook fast here, and if I was good at starting and stopping this camera, I would just do that, but I'm not really that great at it. So everything's getting tender. Just want to make sure you get everything tender enough before you throw in your oysters. You want to make sure that everything's cooked so it's not too crunchy. But that's, I like the vegetables in it because I feel like sometimes I like to put just a few little thin potatoes in here, but I'm not going to do that today. I've been eating a lot of potatoes, so I'm not going to do that. But they are very delicious in here if you want a little bit more of a hearty oyster stew, you could put corn in here. I would like maybe white corn, but I don't know. I wouldn't mess with it too much because it's just good on its own with the oysters and the milk. And all right, let's throw this in. Okay, we're gonna dump all of this in, the celery trees and my spinach that I cut, and add this to the pot. Stir up. Yummy, yummy, I can already tell, love in my tummy. Okay, I'm gonna sprinkle just a little of this pan flour searing. I wanna just give, I don't want this to be thick, but I do want it to have like not a thin base. So just a light sprinkle. Yeah, I could probably add some more, but I might just add a little bit more. I don't want to add too much though. Wasn't something my mother did, was put flour in it, but I just like a little thicker base. So. And this is just a pan searing flour. I thought was kind of unusual at Wegmans, something I can do quickly in the kitchen. So I'm going to go here, and there are times when I like to add a little bouillon, and I just may, because I know at the end sometimes you have to adjust the taste. So I'm just going to do a light sprinkling. We're looking to build flavor throughout this dish, and oh, that already made it smell fantastic. So yes, glad I made that decision. It's not always the same dish. Every dish turns out different, but it's close enough to the authentic one that I normally make. So I'm going to use about half of this container. Just because I'm trying to make a small batch. And we want this to maybe add just a little tiny bit more. If you know me, I always do that. All right. They say less is better, but sometimes more is better. Okay, so I'm gonna turn that light up because I want to see what that flour is going to do with this heavy cream that I put in here. I want to see if it really gives it a good little nice thickening that I'm looking for, but I don't, like I say, not looking for that much, but we want to make sure that's cooked through. So, okie dokie. Now we are going to go in here. We're going to add, I'm going to add whole milk. I normally do 2%, but lately, I don't know. I've been getting whole milk lately. I don't drink a lot of it, but I like it around for certain occasions when I'm making cream soups. And okay, oh my gosh. So that's perfect. It's got a nice little thickness, just that little bit that I put in there. Okay, so this may end up being quite a good healthy pot of soup. So like I say, I might go back and get those oysters and add it to the rest of this milk down on Saturday when they get those oysters in. I'm not telling anybody where they're going to be at because I don't want y'all to take my oysters from me. Okay, here we go. But you have to call around. That's what I did. I had to call 2 stores before I could finally get them. Then I had to go to the 3rd store. All right, so now we're going to put in some chicken broth. I'm gonna do maybe half. I don't want to do the whole thing because then I'm going to be having a big pot of soup that just I'm going to be eating, and I don't want to freeze it. I don't have any room in my freezer to freeze anything. Okay, so we're going to let that come to a boil, and I am going to go in here and taste all this, and I might just have it down. The one thing I forgot to do is add that little pepper that I wanted to add that looks like it's gonna go bad on me. So where is that pepper? Let me see. Okay, So let me taste this and see, look at that butter. I mean, you don't need no more butter really. I might just add a teaspoon to the very end of it just for flavor, but it's just got a beautiful color already to it. Oh, when I add those oysters, this is going to be delish. I'm going to add my little pepper because it's my dish. It's for me. And my son said he wasn't going to eat any, but he would eat this anyway because my kids all grew up on hot peppers and every single one of them don't mind a little spice in their mouth. But see, I got one little bad spot in here. And I don't think I want all those seeds. I would normally eat them, but I want this to taste as authentic as it can, like my mother's, just with a little bit different types of flavors in it. I don't remember ever making this with my dad, but so many foods I love that I cooked with my dad, and so many foods I love that I cooked with my mom. And every time I crave these dishes, I think of them, and I know they're around. I know they're here. So I'm just saying, here you go, Mama. Here you go, Daddy. Enjoy it. Enjoy what you taught me and what I created. All right, now my fingers should be really nice and hot now. All right, so I got that little bit of pepper in there. You don't have to do that. That's an option. Okay. Let's see how this is moving along here. I felt like it did need some salt. I'm gonna do my spoon. It did need some salt. Let's see here. A little bit more salt, not much more. I think I'll be able to tell once it gets just a little hotter. It's really actually pretty good. Once I put that broth in, I'm not messing with anything yet until I put the oysters in. So I'm gonna let this come to a boil, and I may just let this come to a boil and come back and push play again or record again. Okie dokie. I don't like doing this, but I'm gonna give it a shot. Okie dokie, here we go. Hello, welcome back to Bonnie Gail's Kitchen. Okay, this oyster stew broth is steaming really nice. I don't want it to come to a boil, not at this point. And after this, it would only be a light boil. So I'm gonna add the oysters, and I'm gonna add the juice as well, because that's where your flavor is. One time I almost drained this out, and I thought my mother was gonna go psycho on me, but she caught me before I drained it. So that's when I learned the real goodness of oyster stew. You never throw that disgusting broth away. Okay. This kind of reminds me of okra. And unfortunately, I'm a country girl, but I never really liked okra. I don't mind it fried, but I just don't really put in my diet, really. But I told a friend of mine that I would try it. I would try it sometime, so I will try them again sometime when she's in town. All right, so we're gonna give this a good stir, and they are so, look at them fat things. Look how fat those oysters are. Oh my gosh. camera here a little closer for you to see. Look at that. Look at these oysters. It has a great thickness to it, and it's still not thick, if you know what I mean, but I don't know. I just did it a little different, I guess. Okay, so I'm gonna wait for this to come to another steam. Then I'll come back and we'll plate this, and I'll let you see the end results. Okay, namaste. Okay, welcome back to Bonnie's Kitchen. Okay, this is steaming nicely. Now, the thing of it is you don't want to bring it to a roaring boil. You want to make sure it's steamed all the way through, because the longer you cook these oysters, the tinier and tinier they're going to get. So you want to have a nice succulent oyster. This is about where you want to have it. The broth and everything is steaming. It hasn't come to a complete boil. I'm going to turn the light down, and I'm going to keep it down until I finish my bowl of soup. I don't know, I may turn it off. Okay, so I want to do a taster test, and I always feel like at the end it always still needs a little more salt, maybe a little more butter. I mean, I wasn't going to put any more butter in here. I only used that little half stick, a half of a stick. It was not even a half of a stick, it was a half of a stick. Like, let me show you. Now, you can use this whole stick if you want. I don't see a need for it, okay? I used half of this stick with the chicken bouillon flavor I put in. It was just a little, and the chicken broth really makes it nice, you know. You don't even know there's milk and cream in there, really. Okay, but because my mama loved her butter, this is for my mother. I'm gonna add just one little smidgen slice of that half of butter. So it's going in. All right, then at the very end, I like to add a little Himalayan salt, because I always know it needs it. And even probably when I sit down at the table, I may add a little more salt and pepper to it. All right, so see it's steaming nicely. I'm gonna go and give it a little taste test. Oh yeah, so I think it's perfect, good to go. I'm gonna turn the pilot light off and keep the top on it. So let me get my bowl and my crackers, and I'll be back. So it's very fast to make. Doesn't take you, as long as you have everything cut up, you know, you're good to go. All right, so we're gonna take some of these oysters out of here. Oh my goodness, I've been talking about this for a week now. I finally just decided to make it. All for me. And I just like drinking the milk broth too. So, but I'm still gonna get the rest of those oysters and eat some more, because this is probably all I want for a long time. So, all right. So I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to put that down. I'm going to put the top back on. And we're going to add some oyster crackers. Oh, here, let's see. I actually have some oyster crackers open. So, let me see here if I can show this a little better. better at this. Okay, that sounds about right. All right, looks about right. Okay, so I like a little bit of crackers at a time. My mother would sop her bowl up with all these oyster crackers, and they would get too mushy for me. I like mine on the crunchy side. So I just keep adding crackers until all the milk is gone, and I enjoy it that way. Okie dokie. So voila, there's our oyster stew. And maybe I'll take a taste with you real quick. Okay. Right here, baby. Here we go. Let me get one of those oysters. Oh, it's gonna be so hot. Oh. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. Mm. Well, until next time, I love you. Namaste.